In the crowded market of ABA, a young trader named Obenenwafer struggled to survive. He sold palm oil and second-hand clothes in a small wooden stall, dreaming of becoming rich one day. Though poor, he was known for his kindness, always helping others and giving food to those in need. One rainy afternoon, while traders rushed for cover, an old man with tribal marks stood outside Obena's shop, shivering. Obena invited him in and offered him food and shelter. The old man ate quietly, then looked at him with strange, glowing eyes. "You have a kind heart, my son," he said slowly. "But beware of the day your greed blinds you." Before Obena could respond, the man walked out into the rain and disappeared. For days, Obena thought about those words, but eventually forgot them, not knowing that they would one day return to change his life forever. One evening at a friend's party, Obena met a mysterious woman named Madame Ojeki. She wore a black wrapper with gold symbols and spoke his name before he could introduce himself. "Your heart burns with hunger," she told him. "I can help you feed it." She gave him a small white stone and told him to sleep with it under his pillow. That night, he dreamed of a forest with whispering trees and a red river. When he woke, the stone had turned black. The next evening, Madame Ojeki took him to a forest near Nsukka. The air was thick with incense and fear. In the middle of the clearing stood a clay pot filled with red liquid, surrounded by bones. As she chanted, a shadow with glowing eyes rose from the pot and spoke. "Get what you love most, and the doors of the earth will open to you." Obena left the forest shaken. That same night, his only brother, Chijioke, died mysteriously in his sleep. By morning, Obena's life changed. Contracts, money, and success flowed to him like never before. But unknown to him, the price of that wealth had already been written in blood. After his brother's sudden death, Obena's life transformed overnight. Within weeks, he was offered major business deals he never applied for. People who once ignored him now called him sir. His small shop in ABA became a large supply business, and before the year ended, he had opened offices in Lagos and Port Harcourt. Money poured in from every direction. Obena bought cars, built houses, and moved his mother from their old village to a mansion in the city. He wore designer clothes and gold wristwatches, and people began calling him Chief Obenenwafer, the oil magnate. But along with his rise came strange signs. At night, he often heard faint whispers in his bedroom, sometimes calling his name, sometimes laughing softly. His mirrors occasionally showed two shadows instead of one. He dismissed it as tiredness or imagination. One evening, while reviewing documents in his study, the lights flickered. In the reflection of the window, he saw someone standing behind him, a man in a white shirt with blood on the collar. When he turned, no one was there. The face had looked exactly like Chijioke, his late brother. From that day, Obena stopped sleeping alone. He began keeping the TV on all night, claiming it helped him drown out the silence. His employees noticed his growing temper and restlessness. He snapped easily and often stared at nothing for minutes. Despite his fears, his wealth continued to grow. He began donating to churches, sponsoring political campaigns, and throwing parties that shut down whole streets in Lagos. Yet, deep inside, he could not shake the feeling that something was following him, something patient, waiting for the right time. And every time he looked into a mirror or glass window, he swore he could still see two shadows walking where one should be. Chief Obena's mansion was grand and filled with luxury, but peace no longer lived there. At night, servants heard footsteps and whispers echoing through the halls. Sometimes, the lights flickered and doors creaked open by themselves. One morning, Obena woke to find bloody footprints leading from his bed to the balcony. The guard searched but found no one. That night, the prince appeared again. His wife, Ngozi, often saw him sitting awake, eyes open, murmuring to unseen figures. Once she heard him whisper, "Take it all, just leave me." Terrified, she fled the house. Obinna called pastors and doctors, but nothing changed. His mirrors began showing reflections that didn't match his movements. Finally, in fear, he smashed them all, yet he still saw his brother's face in every shiny surface. The mansion that once symbolized power had become a prison of voices. And Chief Obinna began to understand that his wealth had awakened something that would never let him rest. During a board meeting on a sunny Sunday morning, Chief Obinna suddenly stood up and screamed, "They are here for me. The spirits of the forest have come." He tore off his suit, ran barefoot through the streets, and laughed like a possessed man. People watched in horror as the once proud billionaire vanished into crowds, shouting, "My brother is calling me." From that day, he was seen wandering the city, muttering to himself, clutching invisible coins and begging for food. The news of Chief Obinna's madness spread quickly across Nigeria. A man once celebrated on magazine covers, praised in business conferences, and envied by rivals was now seen wandering barefoot through the streets of Lagos, muttering to himself. Some said he was possessed. Others whispered that he had offended ancient spirits. But those who truly knew his story only sighed and said, "The gods have collected their debt." After his public outburst at the board meeting, Obinna was taken to several hospitals and prayer houses. Doctors diagnosed him with severe psychosis, but medicine couldn't cure what had begun in the forest. At night, he would scream and claw at invisible hands, shouting, "Chijioke, forgive me. I didn't mean to trade you." The nurses avoided him. He laughed, cried, and sang all at once, calling himself the richest beggar alive. When his wealth began to crumble, his business partners withdrew, his companies fell into debt, and his properties were auctioned. The mansion in Lekki was abandoned, its windows broken and gardens overrun with weeds. Locals said they could still hear voices coming from the empty halls at midnight. His wife never returned. His old friends vanished. And Madame Ojeki, the woman who had promised him greatness, was never seen again. Some claimed she was not human at all, but a spirit sent to test men's souls. Years passed, and Obinna became a ghost among the living. He wandered from street to street in tattered clothes, sometimes sitting by the roadside and warning strangers, "Don't make deals with shadows. They don't forget." Children threw stones at him, not knowing he was once a billionaire. Only the elders pitied him, calling him the man who bought wealth with blood.